All right. Welcome to this week's episode of What's Up Wandsworth. We're here in Firefly Thai Kitchen and Bar with David. Is that the official Thai kitchen and bar?
Firefly Bar.
Firefly Bar.
And we have a Thai kitchen.
And you have a Thai kitchen.
Right, yeah. It's bar first, Thai kitchen second.
Great. David, how did you come to be in this business? You've been here a while. How did it all get started?
I've always been in bars and restaurants. My family used to be in the hotel trade. And yeah, I moved to London, started running bars for other people. I used to work for Pitch and Piano for quite a few years, which was quite a big company at the time. And I did that for 7, 8, 9 years. And then I left and thought I might as well start my own place. Yeah, and then I had a flatmate who was a lawyer and another chap I worked with at Pitch and Piano called Bob. So it was Craig and Bob and me. And the three were set about to opening up a bar called Firefly. The first one was in Clapham, opposite the Common. We opened that up in 2002, I believe. And then in 2004, we expanded. We opened this one, which we're sat in now in Balham. And then in 2006, we opened a third Firefly in the city opposite the Old Bailey, which is a very big venue.
Yeah. So it was you, ex-colleague, and flatmate, and you came up with the idea to start a bar.
Yeah. I mean, me and my flatmate, we were always like talking about it. He was like, oh, it'd be great if we could start our own bar one day. And then when it sort of became a bit serious, I was like, well, you're a lawyer, you don't know how to run a bar, so I want to get someone else who can help run a bar. So I brought Bob on board as well. And yeah, all went swimmingly. We were business partners for 10 years. All went great till about 2008 what was that, 6 years? So we had 6 years of good times, and then 2008, it wasn't such good times. I don't think it was very good times for anyone. Yeah, so we started carrying quite a few losses, and trade was disappearing, and so forth and so forth. And then we just sort of muddled along for the next maybe 4 years together, or 2012. And then we started, because it was just not happening. It was terrible times, to be honest. It was really bad 4 years. Our lease finished at the first bar in Clapham, so we decided to sell that. As in, we renewed the lease and sold it on, which all proceeds went to the taxman because we were indebted to the taxman. At that point, Bob left the company. He moved outside of London. And we sort of sat down, and Craig, my third business partner, had a girlfriend who wanted to get into the business. So he said, well, look, I'll keep the one in the city, the big Firefly. And I was happy. I lived in Balham, and I was quite happy just to run Balham in here, so we did. We went our own ways. I kept this place as Firefly. I didn't really brand it, although that sort of, because we were then single owner of a single, he took that Firefly in the city and turned it back into the Magpie and Stump, which is an old pub, and I just kept Firefly, but I spent a bit of money on it, renovated it, and then haven't looked back since, basically. So I think that would have been about 2012 or 13. I had Firefly by itself, and then the Thai food came along in 2012 or 13.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Because to some people, people who haven't spent much time in London, I think, where they have a Thai restaurant.
No, it started off actually in our Clapham Firefly, the first one. I mean, it was losing so much money that I decided to close the kitchen and just not do food. So it's just...
And before that, you were doing classic pub food.
Exactly. Yeah, we were doing classic pub food, Sunday roast, bunches, but it's what everyone does at the end of the day. I thought food was pretty good actually back then, but it's still bigger, nicer, more modern pubs or, bars that people want to go to. So we weren't really competing on that side on the food front. But so when I decided to shut the kitchen up there, because we were selling the lease on, and I knew we were, it did take about a year to sell it on. But someone who worked for me knew these nice Thai guys who would like to come and do food. So they took over the kitchen, and they were at the Clapham Firefly for about 12 months, a year-ish. And they did really well. We were selling almost no food before when we were doing the classic bar food, and I think we're doing really well. So when we finally disposed of the Clapham site, I brought them down here basically. So I just thought there was no other Thai restaurant. There was no Thai food in Balham at the time. Yeah, I think there's one or two now. Well, there's been one or two actually over the years who've come and gone. But we've always persisted. And I think it's a really good combination. It's a little bit different, we do craft beer and Thai food basically.
Yeah. That's a great combination.
And football. It's a bit of an eccentric mix, but it seems to work.
Yeah, that's the three worlds, some might say. But there are other pubs in London that do this, but you didn't take inspiration from that.
No, I mean, as I say, it just fell into it. They did so well in the final sort of year in Clapham. The food sales in here in Firefly Balham weren't great. There was a really good chef who's a nice guy, and they said to us, he was a bit of a friend actually, and I had a bit of a frank chat with him, said, look, no matter what we do, as it, you know, we could do the best burgers in Balham, best Sunday roast. It's always going to be just a similar sort of sales.
Right. You can focus on the beer.
Exactly. That's what I do.
Yes, I mean, I'm looking around me. There's a lot of logos. There's a lot of labels. What's the thinking behind the craft beer? Because I know you have some very, very local beer.
Yeah, we often have Belleville. We always have Belleville Brewery representatives just at Wandsworth train station. But no, I mean, you know, if you wind back 19 years ago, we, like most pubs, had, you know, 4 taps or 5 taps with, you know, the usual, you know, big branded suspects on there. And I don't know, I think it was sort of around when we split, I started changing, and because this is a free of tie site, we're not a tied pub, so I can get beer wherever I want. And then we started to expand, you know, went from 5 taps to 8 taps to 10 taps, and now we've got 17 taps. 17. And we just alternate, and yeah, just I've got a few. I have breweries that brew beer for me now, personally. There's 2, well, Wandsworth, Belleville brew a beer for me.
Yeah.
And there's also more brewery in Bristol who brew Smash, which is a pale ale, which is amazing, which is brewed for us and only exclusively for us. So we're doing that. And then that's the sort of stepping stones. I'm literally currently opening up a brewery now as well.
You are?
Yeah.
No.
And near where I live in Farnham. So obviously the idea being that I'll have a brewery, my own brewery, well, with other beer said partners. That's a new venture, but be able to supply my bars with beer that I brew myself.
Brilliant.
So it'll be a brew pub, basically.
Vertically integrated, I think.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's the plan. That's the next step.
And what has changed? You know, you started out having maybe the same beer as everyone else, and was it you pushing for it? You wanted to drink more interesting beer yourself?
I think the reason why was a big backlash because the third Firefly, which my business partner kept in the city, was tied. It was the first, so Firefly 1, 2 were free of tie. We could get beer wherever we wanted.
Yep.
And then we wanted this venue, it was a big venue, but it was tied to Enterprise Inns, and we were a bit green behind the gills, and we, you know, didn't really know much about the tide. And it was fine for a couple of years, and then it went, you know, in 2008, when the tide model is just awful. Mm-hmm. I mean, they expect you just to be a slave to, you know, tide, no, it was Enterprise Inns, and there's all the others, Punch Taverns, you know, they just want you to pay a ridiculous amount of rent, and then they will charge you for not like 10% or 20% more for beer. They charge you like 100% more for beer.
Wow.
And I could see, because obviously I've got 2 untied sites where I was getting a barrel of beer, I don't know, back then for £80, and I was paying £160 there for the same beer.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a backlash, and it was like, I don't know, I just sort of thought, you know, the craft beer industry was rising, coming up slowly, lots of new breweries were opening up all over London. And I'm like, why am I selling the same mass-produced rubbish beer that you can buy in most of the pubs? Yeah, what, just because the marketing people say that I have to, and they've got adverts on TV? And I'm like, no, I'll get independent quality beer and sell it at a price that I think is reasonable. And obviously I can negotiate on a price, so I can do it, you know, so it's more business-like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's more work for you, right? So is that because you're quite involved as an owner, as a manager?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the beer side of it, you know,
yeah.
And I would be starting a brewery off if I wasn't. But no, it's nice to, I think variety is nice, you know, you have some customers who come in and they, you know, obviously never been in here before, and they're like, oh, have you got any Stella? And no, have you got any Amstel? You know, we have much better beers than those here. Would you like to try one? And it's quite nice to open people's eyes. I mean, occasionally you get the guy who goes, oh, no, and you drink Stella, and walk out the door, but then that's their loss. You know?
Yeah. Well, he'll have plenty of options.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What do you like at the moment? What's a favourite?
I don't really have a favourite.
Okay. And what do you sell a lot of at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Smash is amazing. I quite often, you know, I drink a lot of pale ales and IPAs. I like cask as well, you know, real ale. We've only got 1 cask tap, unfortunately. We used to have 2, but it's one of those things that if it doesn't sell, it goes off very quickly. Yeah. So it's better to have 1 and sell a lot of it, and it's always fresh, rather than 2, and it stagnates a bit, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Okay, so you sell a lot of IPAs, pale ales?
Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, obviously, it's not a big venue here, but we've got a lot of beer. So some, you know, when we put things that are a bit more risky on, you know, not risky, but a bit more
edgy.
Yeah, you know, they fly out the door, but it's nice to try and get a nice balance of, you know, 2 or 3 IPAs, 2 or 3 pale ales, 2 or 3 session pale ales, and then you've got 2 or 3 lagers and Guinness and stouts and Weiss beer, and there's plenty of different beers.
Yeah. Have you thought anything, because, you know, you were living in the area at the time, you started a pub close by Clapham, and then one here. Is there anything about the area that you've noticed? You know, what do you like about the area?
I mean, Balham, to be honest, for the last few years, I generally just come to work. I haven't really frequented Balham much because I obviously live further away. I mean, I've been here almost 20 years. You know, I've seen Balham go from you wouldn't walk down the high street stage. Literally, you wouldn't walk down the high street because you'd get accosted by prostitutes or drug dealers, to being an affluent, middle-class, young family sort of area. And change has been quite colossal, really. I mean, when I opened up 20 years ago, I was probably the first. Exhibit was there, actually. It's been slightly longer than I've been around. But I think I'm the oldest after Exhibit. I'm definitely the only bar where the owner works in it, if you see what I mean. But no, Balham's really nice. It's just, you know, they're quite demanding, the local customers, especially some of the young ones. They think, you know, they're all nice, but sometimes a bit demanding.
Do you think they have a lot of knowledge on the craft beer side? They know what they're looking for?
I think a lot of people come here specifically for it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't, you know, but then, you know, we do a lot of cocktails here as well. We do a lot of wine, you know, so sort of a bit for, you know, everyone. But a lot of people come for the Thai food as well. I mean, we get a lot of people who walk in and go, you know, table for two. It's like, fine, they, you know, take a table and then like, do you do beer? It's like, we are a craft beer venue.
Yeah.
Oh, I came for the Thai food. It's like, well, that's great, but yeah, we do lots of good beer.
Yeah.
I think there's a misunderstanding because we're a shop front bar rather than a pub. You know, building, literally the building wise, I think people don't quite understand. A lot of people misunderstand what we are.
Yeah.
You know, they need to come in for like, well, we're a restaurant. No, we're a bar that serves Thai food. But that's, you know, that's fine. We educate them, so come in.
Yeah. Any challenges with the area?
No, I mean, things are picking up again. I mean, obviously COVID was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a real big bad nightmare. I mean, I had 2 bars. I wasn't allowed to open them. I mean, there was...
But could you do food? Oh, no, the guys couldn't do food either.
No, we didn't. I mean, there's grants and funding from the government, which is good, because that would have, you know, you sort of go cap in hand to the landlord and say, give me, you know, can I pay less rent or can I still rent free? Well, I think here the landlord was quite tight, actually. But then the other puppy, they let me off for a few months rent, which was good. But no, I mean, it wasn't great. But now it all seems to have gone. COVID, it's finished. People are enjoying themselves again. And, you know, I think, you know, up until actually, let's see, January, February, we've been quite strong in terms of trade. You know, stronger than I'd imagined, which is good. So we'll see how the year goes, basically.
Yep.
It's a good start, anyway.
But rent must be quite something.
I think I've got to rent a few in the next year. Next year, I'm not sure. I'll have to look. The landlord here is fairly all right, though. It's the person who owns the building. It's not a person, it's a charity that owns the building.
Okay.
So it's not like you've got, you know, a landlord who's like, right, I want to get maximum rent, you know. It's more like a charity that wants longevity, you know. I think, you know, there's 4 or 5 flats above. They're just rented by the landlord. And the tenants up there stay a long, long time, just because their rent's so reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's similar to me. My rent's not extortionate, it's not cheap, it's reasonable, you know. So, and they're not like, you know, when there's a rent review every 5 years, they're not like trying to double it or put on 40% or something stupid. They're quite reasonable. So, no, long may it last, but we'll see. I mean, say next year's 20 years, and who knows after that, you know.
Any particular plans for the 20th anniversary?
Yeah, close. No, I don't know. But I think I opened in October, so not this October. Well, we're now 2023. No, we're 2024. So yeah, in October will be 19 years, and then I don't know, probably a big party. 20 years of trading.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We'll see what happens. I think it says as though I think I'm definitely the longest trader. I know, you know, obviously pubs have been established a lot longer. You know, like a pub was made 200-300 years ago, but every pub in the area, apart from the chain ones like Young's, have changed hands. You know, there's been one operator, then a different operator. So it is even like the Bedford, you know, that's just different operators took over there a couple of years ago. As I say, I think it's only the Exhibit that's older than me.
Yeah.
And not by far. No, I think they opened up 2 or 3 years before I did. But that was, you know, before when Balham was a different beast.
It's different, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 20-year anniversary. And any other trends you're seeing in terms of, you know, people like to talk about this low alcohol. Supposedly all young people don't want to drink so much alcohol.
We are selling quite a few. We've got no and low in cans and bottles. We do sell quite a few, I must say. On Saturday, I was working Saturday with a road bit. We sold quite a lot of no and low. But
what do you think about those?
I think they taste disgusting.
Yeah.
If I don't want to drink, I'll have a Coke or a glass of water.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm not really into non-alcoholic beers. I mean, I've tried a few on tap over the years, you know, in January and, you know, having it in a cake's worth, but it doesn't exactly fly out. It's not a big seller. But, you know, it's good to have. And I admire people if they want to go out and have a beer and not have any alcohol. It's great. But I'm more old school. If I don't want to drink, I'll just stay at home. You know, rather than if I go out, I'll just have a drink.
Yeah, fair enough. Anything else that's going on, you know, in the next couple of months?
Not specifically here. I mean, obviously, we're starting a brewery, so that's quite major.
Yeah. When do you think the first beer will be available here at the Firefly?
I got the brewery equipment. Me and 3 other guy mates went to get the brewery equipment from Reading yesterday from a defunct old brewery, and we casted it down to our new brewery. So it'll probably take about 3 weeks to set it all up, and then another 3 weeks to brew. So maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks, 6, 7 weeks.
How much are you producing in that first?
It's about 3 brews barrel kit, so it's about 450 litres per brew, so 800 pints we should get per each brew.
And that will all be sold here and at your other location?
No, I mean, the plan is, the brewery is going to be called Farnham Brewing Co., so the plan is to try and bring good beer to Farnham as well, and bring some up here, but I'm not really going to. We will be going to pubs in Farnham and shops and trying to get it listed and sold in local pubs. There's also a tap room next to the brewery, so we can, you know, I'm sure it's a beautiful little sort of, it's just in the field basically on the farm. It's lovely. So hopefully we'll get quite a few people coming there to make a cafe there as well. But yeah, so hopefully sell it here, there, and here in Farnham really. But we're quite embedded in the community down there as well. There's a nice community, a bit like Balham, but it's, you know, more rural. And I know we're going to hope to get it in a local cricket club and all these sort of places and just...
Yeah, because just going back to a point you made earlier about the tied and untied, you know, are there many pubs that you think it's realistic that can take it?
That's the thing. I mean, most tied pubs can take a local cask beer.
Okay.
You know, normally they have the freedom to choose if there's a local brewery in the village or whatever, they should be allowed to sell one cask. So we will be brewing cask and keg beer. So I think we'll start with cask anyway, because it's easy to brew. So we need to do some brews and see what it comes. You know, I mean, you can brew beer, it can be awful. So we need to get the recipes right. Yeah. But no, if we can start with some cask, and that hopefully should get into a few pubs. So there's quite a few untied pubs as well, you know, and obviously they're the ones who you need to sort of like, come on, have a keg, have some kegs of pale ale on tap, and why not have cask as well? And then it's a bit strategic as well. That's why we've called it Farnham Brewing Co., because ideally if you're a pub in Farnham, you know, you're going to want to drink Farnham brewed beer. Yeah. That's the idea, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you'll get such a taste for it, you want to start a brewery here as well.
Maybe. We'll see.
Obviously, rents and property prices are a bit different here.
It was my hope. I mean, I've always hoped that, you know, if I did find a bigger pub or something, you know, in London, that it had the space to brew. There's a proper, genuine brew pub with where you brew in the pub.
This might be a stupid question, but like, how much space do you need?
You probably need. I mean, the brewery that we're setting up in is about 6 or 7 meters square, and it's quite. You know, to get 450 liters is quite. It's not. It's still a small brewery, but it's not a micro brewery.
But that's not. Yeah, 7 square meters is.
No, it's like I'd say it's about pointing. Obviously, we were recording. It was about the front of the bubble. It's not massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be tight there, but, you know, a lot of microbrewery pubs, they'll literally have a brewery the size of this bar, you know, like 3 meters by 4 meters. That's all the kit, and a couple of fermenters. And the fermenters can sit anywhere, you know. But if you just apply, like, if I had a brewery for this place only, I'd need 100 litre brew kit. You know, not a lot at all. Make a couple of kegs at a time.
Yeah.
But then it's economy of scale as well, you know. To brew 450 litres is the same as brewing 4,000 litres in terms of effort, you know. So it's all about vessel sizes and stuff. We'll get into that. I'm not an expert. I haven't started yet. So give me a couple of months and I'm a bit more knowledgeable.
Yeah, and I guess 6 or 7 square meters is about half the size of a flat in Balham.
Yeah, yeah, too. No, I mean, I think, you know, where we are, we've got a nice farm location. The rent's very reasonable because it's all farm location. Yeah. And I mean, the great thing about it is it's literally 3 minutes from where I live. I mean, it's like walking from here to, you know, double cyclist. It's great.
Oh, that's great. Thanks so much, David. I mean, we should stop by the Firefly and look out for Farnham Brewery Co. at some point.
Yeah, I reckon 2 months' time, it'll definitely be on the bar.
So some point before summer 2023.
Yeah, and hopefully it's good. If not, it'll be really cheap.
Brilliant. We know what to look out for. Thanks, David.
Cheers.